Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. My short topic today is about spark. And I'm going to make a promise to you. With Allah's grace, by the time you leave this prayer hall today, you will have a spark. A small spark or a big spark. Your goal after having the spark is to make sure that you don't let one day pass by without putting some fuel on the spark. The spark doesn't come often, but when it comes, you have to grab it and put a fuel every single day so that your spark is ignited. For me, I had a spark 22 years ago. I went to do some work as an accountant in my past life to work on the refugees, the Afghan refugees, and I cried like a baby. My soul was shaken. The poverty I saw made me shiver and sweat at the same time. And with Allah's grace, I haven't let a day pass by for the past 22 years without putting some fuel on the spark. So I want to begin by saying that all of us are born with a zero. We come in this world naked. And we all die with a zero. We go out of this world with zero, as naked as we came. So we start with zero, then we go to 10, to 100, to 1,000, to 10,000, to 100,000, to million. But in the end, we go with zero. So we are 0 to 0. So you ask yourself a question, why are you here? If it's 0 to 0, what's our purpose? So I want to talk about how you get this spark by talking about 7 different areas where you get spark. The first one is that we are all born unique in this world. There is nobody like you or like anybody here. There never was, there never will be. Nobody walks like you, nobody talks like you, nobody thinks like you. So you're unique, you're special, and you are very, very powerful. And when you're born, you're given a gift. And every one of us has been given a different gift. So we don't try to be like somebody else, because if you try to be like somebody else, you always be second best somebody else. That's why we say, be yourself, because everybody else is taken. And when you become yourself, you become your most powerful, authentic self. Now, unfortunately, most people never use their gift or never open their birthday gift. And so what we have genius lying in the grave. People who died never opening their birthday gift. Why? Because they don't teach us about how to open your birthday gift in school. The parents don't teach you how to open a birthday gift because they don't know. At workplace, we don't get taught how to open your birthday gift. In your peer circle, in your social circle, they don't teach you how to open your birthday gift. And even sometimes in the mosque, we don't learn how to open our birthday gift. So where do you find this? If you realize that you are the captain of your ship, you are the architect of your life, and you are the master of your destiny. You have the gift within you, and it is your responsibility to look within to find out your gift. Rumi is a Sufi poet. He says, you can do hundreds of things in life. You can do hundreds of things in this life. But if you don't do this one thing, you wasted your life. What is this one thing we must do, that we are born to do? And today, more than any other time, we are in the world today with this coronavirus, that we are hearing different messages every single day. It's a wake-up call. It's a wake-up call to make us realize that who knows? Who knows what can happen tomorrow? We recently saw Kobe Bryant, the best basketball player in the world, die at the age of 41. So even a best basketball player cannot save his life. So how are we going to save our life? So we don't know. So it's important for us to get that spark by opening that gift we have inside us, which is lying dormant, and tap into the genius that you are, the capacity that God gave you, Allah gave you. And you are a miracle. There was nobody like you in the past. There is nobody like you today, and there will never ever be anybody like you forever. You are unique, you are special, and you are very, very powerful. So that's the first spark. The second spark is a spark in the moment. Right now it's 12:45 p.m. on March 6th, 2020. So you might say, what's the big deal? It's March 6th. It's a Friday. It's 2020. It's 12:45 p.m. What's the big deal? You know what the big deal is? 12:45 p.m. on March 6, 2020 will never, ever, ever, ever come back. This is a moment, it's a magical moment. We are alive, we are in this mosque, we are healthy. This moment is so precious, it is so powerful. If we live each moment fully, giving 110% and making this moment become like eternity, your life expands. It doesn't matter how much time you have to live. It's not the quantity of time you have to live, it's the quality of time. So if you take every moment and seize it, they say carpe diem, seize the moment and live it fully, amazing things happen. I think the Holy Prophet Muhammad Rasulullah has been reported to say that live your spiritual life assuming you'll die tomorrow. However, live your worldly life assuming you'll live forever. So spiritual life, do not procrastinate. If you want to ask for forgiveness, ask for forgiveness. If you want to say to somebody, I love you, you say, I love you. Whatever you want to do spiritually, do it now. However, your worldly life, you cannot say, I don't care. Because if you live another 30, 40 years, you plan for your worldly life. You plan for your children. You plan for your grandchildren. Because you are balancing between world and spirit. So the second spark message is, every moment counts. Even a millionth of a second counts. Time is the only asset we have. That's the only thing we have. Otherwise, it's 0 to 0. Spark number 2. Spark number 3 is the spark of your power of your habits. Look at your habits. How do you live your life? What time do you get up in the morning? What's the first thing you do when you get up? How is your life? How is your time use of the day? If you start your morning with an hour of power, 20 minutes you do your prayers, your meditation, 20 minutes you exercise, 20 minutes you read something uplifting, done something for your body, exercise, something for your mind, reading something uplifting, and 20 minutes for your soul meditation or prayer. You start your life with a bang, something for your body, something for your mind, something for your soul. And this 1 hour you invest, it's not an expense, it's not profit and loss. It's an investment, a balance sheet item. This 1 hour you invest significantly enhances the next 23 hours. You're more dynamic, more energetic, more fulfilled. A good habit. If I was to ask you right now, are you guys breathing right now? Are you breathing? Yes? How do you know you're breathing? The only reason you know you're breathing is because you're alive. You're not saying, am I breathing? My brothers, when a habit, a good habit, becomes as natural as breathing, it's called mastery. It's called mastery. It's called unconscious competence. I'm doing this habit like I'm breathing because I've drilled and I've drilled and I've drilled, and now it's become as natural as breathing. So to form good habits is a power, is a spark, and it becomes then very easy, very natural, because you have invested the time and energy to master a habit. So that's spark number 3. Spark number 4 is about the spark of looking at everything in your life as a blessing. If a good thing happens, it's a blessing. If a bad thing happens, it's a blessing. So it's almost like saying you have an inverse paranoia. Paranoia is anxiety, worry, problems. Inverse paranoia is you turn every problem into an opportunity. You turn every tragedy into an opportunity. You turn every minus into a plus. If something wrong happens, you say, this is the best thing that happened to me, and it's going to lead me to my ultimate destination. When you look at life like that, you are able to look at everything as a blessing. If you look at problems, if you look at struggle, if you look at sadness, if you look at life of any prophet, Prophet Muhammad, may peace of God be upon him, Prophet Jesus, may peace of God be upon him, Prophet Moses, may peace of God be upon him, all of them went through enormous struggle. Then you ask yourself, why prophets go through sadness and struggle? There's a message for all of us, that it is through struggle you become stronger. Again, Rumi says, a wound is a place where light enters. If you don't have a wound in your heart, there's no place for light to enter. You become too egotistical. So difficulties, problems, hurdles, challenges make us humble. So if you look at life like that, nothing can bug you. You are happy in your victory, you're happy in your sadness. You're happy in your defeat, as long as you've done your best. Our job is to do our best and leave the rest. But if you look at this way, then nothing is a problem. Even coronavirus, you might say, is an awakening. It's an awakening for us to realize that life is short. Life is short. And as we say, you're only awake, it's only morning when you're awake. Most people are sleeping. They are sleeping in the world, looking at the world as an illusion. The reality is not the world. The world is only a transition to the real world, the akhirat, the hereafter. And this world is preparation for the hereafter. So we are in transit here. It might be 70 years, it might be 100 years, it's still a transit. And when we realize that, we have perspective. Any problem you have, any problem, ask yourself, how is this problem going to be there 20, 30, 40, 50 years from now? And suddenly you realize it's not a problem. It's just a transitional problem, but in the big scheme of things, it's nothing. It's not the end of the world. So the fourth spark is having this mentality of inverse paranoia. Everything happens for the best, as long as I do my best. The fifth power is the power of goals. An average person with crystal clear goals will run circles around a genius who has no goals. If you look at an example of football, if you have the best players in the world, Cristiano Ronaldo, Lionel Messi, Mohamed Salah, you name all the great players, and they are playing football, but there's no goalpost. These are the best players in the world. What will they do with the ball? They'll pass the ball, they'll tackle, they'll dribble, but where they're going? There's no goalpost. They'll go in circles, even though they are the best of the best. So people who live life without goals are going in circle. Or if the goals keep changing, one day is this goal, next day is that goal, third day I don't know what my goal is. You see, the universe that Allah has created wants to help us. Wants to help us, but what message do we give the universe? If we give mixed messages to the universe cannot help us. But if your messages are clear, crystal clear, you walk it, you talk it, you breathe it, you sleep it, you die it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. Provided your goals are not just about selfish goals. Your goals are larger than self. My brothers, when a subject disappears in the object, magic happens. The subject is the ego, it's you, it's me. The object is a goal bigger than me. Because we are in this world to create a better world. Allah has breathed His Spirit into all of us. We have Allah in our spirit, in our heart, in our soul. So we have this capacity to make a world a better place. And we are all geniuses. We are all nature's greatest miracles. We all have power within. Doesn't matter what your background is. Because the past does not equal the future. Goal number 6 is the goal of giving. If you close your fist, you cannot receive. If you open your fist and give, you can also receive. The birthday gift Allah gave us was given to us to use it to make a difference to people around us. When we hurt other people, we hurt ourselves. Why? Because other people and us are same. We are from the same soul, from the same creator. I'm hurting my brother or my sister. Doesn't matter who it is, Christian, Jew, Muslim, Hindu, even an atheist. They are all creatures of Allah. Even a living being like a dog or a cat or an ant. We realize that we are all part of the same creation, then we become good people. We do good things. You know, if you're wearing a nice white shirt from dry cleaning, clean shirt, and there's a small dot goes in the clean shirt, what happens? You get affected. Why? Because you have a clean shirt. If you're wearing a dirty mechanic's overall and a dirt comes out, it doesn't bother you. A human being who is pure inside, a small dirt comes in, affects them because they are so aware, they are so pure. When we start to cut corners, eventually, doesn't matter. I was reading an article recently, a Harvard magazine article by this professor. He said, he's a Christian guy. He said when he was young, he used to play basketball. He was a good basketball player. But he had made a promise to God that every Sunday I will go to church and I will do nothing else. But their team went to semifinals. Now most of the games were played in the weekdays, but the semifinal was on Sunday. So he had a choice to go to church or play the basketball game. So he was reluctant to play, but his coach and his players were all forcing him to play. He said, okay, give me some time. I'm going to reflect and come back and tell you. He came back later and told them, I'm not going to play. I made a promise. I want to keep my promise. And what he was saying in this article was, when you look at all this Enron and all these Lehman Brothers and all these catastrophes of ethical violence, he said it starts with a marginal error. You see, okay, this is okay, one is okay. And when you start doing one is okay, before you know it becomes a big thing. But when you stick to your principles, the ground on which you stand, a very strong ground on which you stand, you can build a big empire which doesn't collapse because your ground is very strong. When you start cutting corners in integrity, when you start cutting corners on your principles, when you start cutting corners on your ethics, you make yourself weak. You make yourself weak. And one of the most powerful things you can do is giving. A cow which stops giving milk cannot create more milk. A tree which has a fruit and nobody talks it, it falls down and rots. A river which stops flowing stagnates, dies. When you stop giving, you stop creating. When you stop giving, you stop having. When you stop giving, you stop finding. When you stop giving, you stop receiving. My friends, my brothers, when you stop giving, you stop living. You're dead. Because the only reason you're born in this life is to give. And we are hardwired to give. We have a need to give. And those people who haven't tasted the beauty and the bounty and the joy of giving don't know what they're missing. They don't know what you're missing. And remember, just like there's power in giving, there's also power in receiving. Just like there's power in giving, there's power in, because if there's no receiver, there's no giver. If we have no receivers in the world, we are deprived of giving. So we both lose. And this is why there's a giver and there's a receiver. Khalil Gibran says it beautifully. He says, look at the bee and the flower. For the bee, the flower is a fountain of love. For the flower, the bee is the messenger of God. And for the bee and the flower, the giving and receiving is an ecstasy and a joy. So life is all about giving and receiving. So give and also receive. And as you keep on giving and you keep on receiving, you create spark. You create a spark in your life. And my final point about spark, the seventh, is balance. And not just balance in the bank, balance in your life. The way you walk, the way you talk, the way you run your family, the way you do your business, the way you do your mosque, the way you play your sports, everything and anything you do is integrated. You see, we sometimes think our material life and our spiritual life is divorced. It's not divorced. Prophet Muhammad, may peace of God be upon him, had a business. He was balanced. He gave us an example that we have two responsibilities, our spiritual responsibility and our material responsibility. We cannot forsake either. But the beauty is, this is very profound, the beauty is if 24 hours of your day, no matter what you are doing, whether you're running your family, whether you're doing your business, whether you're going to university, whatever you're doing, if you align it to your spiritual base, then 24 hours is a prayer. That's the real balance. So if you're a father or a mother who is an inspiring parent, giving your children roots and wings, roots is the ethics and principles and values you teach them, and wings is the self-esteem which you teach them to believe in themselves, and you are a great role model as a parent, and you teach them financial acumen so they can do well and contribute to society, then your parenthood becomes an act of spirituality. If you're a businessman who works hard with integrity, with ethics, with principles, looks after his customers, looks after his employees, looks after his stakeholders, uses his success to look after his family, to look after himself or herself, and to do good work, your work becomes a prayer. If you're a student studying in university or college or school, and you're working hard to become qualified and educated so you can use your knowledge to make a world a better place, your education becomes an act of spirituality. So my brothers, spirituality and materiality is not divorced. It's very much intertwined. And when you have that kind of ability, then you're in the zone. In the zone, whatever you're doing, even when you're washing dishes, it's a prayer for you. You see the bubbles come up and you say, wow, the magic of Allah. When I see a bird fly, I say, Subhanallah. When I see a flower bloom, I say, Subhanallah. When I see a star shine, I say, Subhanallah. 24 hours is a prayer, not just when I come to the mosque. Your mosque attendance has to be aligned to everything you do. Then you are really, really balanced, and that's the real spark. So to conclude, I said to you that my small talk is about spark. I told you that we come from zero, we go with zero. There's nothing we come with and nothing we take. The only thing, when you die, you don't take what you have. When you die, you take what you give. Of your knowledge, of your wisdom, of your resources, of your kindness, of your forgiveness. Forgiveness is such a powerful thing. Sometimes when we forgive, we think we're doing a favor to others. No, we're doing a favor to yourself. Because if you don't forgive, you are the one who hurts most. So 0 to 0, and I gave you 7 sparks. First spark is that you are a miracle. You have a birthday gift that needs to be opened before you die. And that birthday gift is given to you to make a world a better place. The second spark was about the spark of the moment. Each moment counts. Every moment counts. Even the millionth of a second counts. And when you live fully in each moment, you expand your life. It's not the quantity of life, it's the quality of life. The third spark is the spark of habits, creating good habits. You drill and you drill and you drill until it becomes as natural as breathing. Waking up in the morning, early, sleeping early at night, doing 20 minutes exercise, meditation, and reading something uplifting is a good habit. Drill it until it becomes natural as breathing. The fourth gift I said to you was about having this inverse paranoia. Everything that happens to you, you say, this is the best thing that happened to me. Then you're unstoppable. Because nothing can stop you to reach your goal, because you don't take a minus and look at it as a minus. You look at a minus and make it as a plus. The fifth goal I told you is about the power of goals. Clear goals, crystal clear goals. That gives you the focus and the strength to create momentum. The sixth power I told you was the power of giving. Give of your time, of your knowledge, of your wisdom. And the more you give, the more you create. And the final seventh spark was about balance. Everything you do is grounded in spirituality. And inshallah, with Allah's grace, if you have had this small spark today from any of the 7 points, my plea to you would be, never let a day pass by. Never let a day pass by without putting some fuel in the spark. Because if you don't put a fuel in the spark dies. But if you keep putting fuel in the spark is ignited. And then you're living your purpose. Then when call comes to go from this world, your departure, you live your spiritual life as if you're going to die tomorrow. And you live your worldly life as if you're going to live forever. Thank you.